And to talk more about this, joining me now is Tom Mulcair, CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader. Tom, good to see you.
Good to be with you, Renee.
Now, the Bloc will be voting against this non-confidence motion next week. Does this make an early election unlikely?
Well, it makes an immediate early election unlikely. We might still get one earlier than the normally scheduled, statutory date, because they're going to be looking for angles and advantages, all of them. There's a budget coming up in the spring. To me, that's probably the most likely meeting point where all of the opposition parties could get together. I think that Mr. Blanchet might have painted himself into a bit of a corner yesterday because he went far. In that press conference, he said, well, the reason I'm going to vote my confidence in Trudeau and not vote along with the Conservatives is that I'm not a Conservative. Fair enough. But at some point, he will see it to be in his advantage to take down the Trudeau Liberals. And at that point, well, what happens? Is he going to be telling Quebecers that he is now a Conservative? And he made that equation. He put that forward as his main point. So I think he might have overplayed his hand a little bit. I also believe that it's clear that the NDP is going to go along with the Bloc and refuse to support the Conservatives, probably on similar grounds, but they might see some sort of strategic advantage in trying to vote against Trudeau, but that puts them in a bit of a bind in any future vote. So they're going to have to really think this one through.
And we are expecting to hear from NDP leader Jagmeet Singh tomorrow on this. What do you think he's going to say?
I believe that Singh is very much in the same position as Blanchet, although since it goes in order, so once the Conservatives vote in favor of their own motion to take down the Liberals, the Bloc now is going to vote against it, so that leaves Singh with a much freer hand. But is he going to try to play the game of saying, yeah, I want to bring down, the Trudeau Liberals right away, and I'm voting with the Conservatives on this? The setup by the Bloc is a bit of a squeeze on Singh, because if he votes with the Conservatives, then people see that. It's just the NDP and the Conservatives together. So that's a bit of a tricky move for him. I think he should probably keep his powder dry and, fight another day on this issue. He got great coverage this week for standing up to an outrageous bully in front of the House of Commons. I think he should try to keep that positive head of steam that he seems to have going for him right now. And, not voting with the Conservatives, I don't think is ever going to hurt an NDP leader.
Now, in other news, Pablo Rodriguez is running for the Quebec Liberal leadership. Your reaction to this?
Well, I mean, everybody knew that he was preparing it. I live and work here in Quebec. We already had one member of the Quebec National Assembly who openly said, oh, I'm on his team. So that might have been a bit of a hint that the deal was already cinched, that he was leaving federal politics to run provincially. But the problem for him is he's not leaving federal politics. He wants to keep his job as an MP. MPs make almost $200,000 a year. So Canadian taxpayers are essentially going to be subsidizing his run for a provincial party leadership. It is passing strange. I don't understand. He said that as of yesterday. Perhaps today when he makes a more official announcement, smart people around him will have said, boss, you just cannot do that, because there are really smart people. There are very good, deeply experienced, strong people in Ottawa who will be following him into this fight. It's going to be a tough road to hoe, but he's a popular figure. He's got lots of pizzazz. He's got lots of energy, and he's fun. And he's going to run a great campaign. So he's got to get this thing cleared up right away, Renee. Otherwise, it's just going to be a needless ball and chain for him during his whole campaign.
Very interesting. That is our time. We'll have to leave it there. Tom, thank you as always.
All the best.
Tom Mulcair is our CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader.